So, a bit over a year since the release of Ghost of Tsushima, the game received a lot of praise at the time of its release, but after that time, is it still worth it with all the patches, updates, and Director's Cut edition? What's up everyone and welcome to a new video. My name is Omar with Real Gamer Review, and today we are reviewing Ghost of Tsushima a bit over a year after its release. If you are watching my channel for the first time, a like and a subscribe would be hugely appreciated. Ghost of Tsushima is an action-adventure game developed by Sucker Punch Productions and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment exclusively for the PlayStation 4 and 5 consoles. The game features an open world. You control Jin Sakai, a samurai on a quest to protect Tsushima Island during the first Mongol invasion of Japan. The game was originally released for the PlayStation 4 back in 2020, and a director's cut for PlayStation 4 and 5 was released later in August 2021. It received praise for its visuals, art direction, narrative, and combat. The game features a very large open world, with no visible waypoints on the HUD, which can be explored with or without guidance of wind direction. Yes, after marking a point on the map or during a main mission, directions are guided by the wind, which is cool and kind of new as well. You can travel to different parts of the island on foot or on horseback. There is of course the fast travel option as well. You will also have access to an item a bit later into the campaign that acts as a grappling hook that will help you access difficult to reach areas. The game mainly features main missions, side missions, which include tales, where you will meet a lot of side characters that are somewhat important in the story of the campaign. Also, you have side missions where they will be triggered by talking to NPCs that you encounter during your travels and roaming around the map. There is also another type of side missions which is called stories. In those stories, you will meet some NPCs and they will start telling you a story which will eventually lead you to find a special item or unlocking a special move. But the most interesting thing is how the story is told, or to be more accurate, how it is visually presented.
Long ago, an emperor and his palace were plagued by a winged demon. The emperor sent for Uchitsune, the most renowned archer of his time.
Pretty cool, huh? There are also some camps around the map that, when liberated by killing all enemies inside and the leader or finishing some objectives inside them, you get to reveal a part of the map. Coming to the combat part, you'll be able to engage enemies in a direct confrontation called a standoff, using the katana, which can chain up a series of fatal strikes against a set number of enemies. You can also of course ignore the standoff prompt and just march in, slashing your enemies. Additionally, you will have access to bows, which can fire different types of arrows. Alternatively, using stealth will allow you to evade enemies and strike them silently. Most of the time you will have both options to choose from, especially when attacking different camps. Either you charge in or smartly plan your stealth attack, unless of course it is a stealth mission. You will have access as well to tools that will help you in combat, such as firecrackers to create distractions, smoke bombs to disorient alerted foes, and kunai for striking multiple enemies. 1 vs 1 duels with non-playable characters are featured as main and side quests. And since we mentioned the duels, I actually have to say that this is one of the coolest looking parts of the game. How it starts and how you play it and how smooth the gameplay in it. It's a pretty good part of the game that you just can't get enough of. The game also has different stances to choose from during the combat. You'll get to unlock them after progressing a bit throughout the campaign. The stances are Stone Stance, Water Stance, Wind Stance, and Moon Stance. Each stance is more effective against different type of enemies. For example, Stone Stance is effective against swordsmen, Water Stance is effective against shieldmen, etc, etc. You will also have access to some long-ranged weapons beside the bows, like poison darts, firecrackers, and sticky bombs. The game features different armors which are upgradable, with each armor featuring a unique set of skills added to it. For example, the Ghost armor will make it harder to be detected by enemies. Surugami armor will boost the deadliness of the perfect dodge, and the same applies to each different armor. Armors are slightly customizable as well, as you can dye some of them in different colors, and you can also mix and match different headbands, helmets, and hats with different armors. There are also some mini-games around the island that will help you with upgrading your character. For example, there is the bamboo cutting mini-game, which will help you increase your resolve amount. And the resolve is the part responsible for regaining your health after getting damaged. You also have some meditation areas around the island with pretty good looking scenes, which eventually helps with increasing your health bar. Legends mode is somehow considered some sort of a multiplayer option, which in it you can play in co-op mode with other players or your friends after creating a character, where you get to choose between 4 categories: Assassin, Samurai, Hunter, and Ronin, with each having a different set of skills and outfits. There are different options to choose from inside Legends mode. There are some sort of different small stories that you get to play in co-op with other players, or you can play solo as well. There is another mode under the name of Rivals that focus more on the co-op option, where you get to play against each other in teams of 2. The third mode is under the name of Survival, where you, as you might have guessed, you need to survive a number of different waves of enemies while defending a certain spot. The last mode is under the name of Challenge, which is actually locked until you finish all the stories in Legends mode. It contains a 3-part raid that requires teamwork and strategy to succeed. Or at least that is what the game says, as I didn't unlock it yet. In Legends mode, you also get to upgrade your character and customize its looks by buying and upgrading your armor, gear, techniques, and emotes. Also, something worth mentioning, you won't be able to play co-op in Legends mode without having a PS Plus subscription. So overall, Legends mode is a good addition if you already finished the campaign but still want to play a bit more of the game, but I wouldn't say that it has anything over the top. A director's cut version of the game was recently released, which added to the game some visual enhancement for the PlayStation 5 console, which we'll be talking about a bit later, and some other additions like PS5 haptics feedback and adaptive triggers, Japanese lip sync, and more. Of course, if you already own the game, you can only purchase the director's cut expansion separately. In Iki Island, a whole new chapter in Jin's journey is added to the campaign, which you'll have access to after progressing a bit into the original campaign, given that you have the director's cut expansion. But I would recommend finishing the campaign first, as the story is connected. The expansion takes place on Iki Island. In the new story, Jin travels to the island to investigate rumors of Mongol presence. But soon he finds himself caught up in the events with deeply personal stakes that will force him to relive some traumatic moments from his past. There are a few new additions to the gameplay as well, like attacking enemies with your horse, new way of opening some doors using the PS5 adaptive triggers, and a few more. The expansion is pretty good actually, and it adds around 10 to 15 hours of gameplay depending on your gameplay style, and I would definitely recommend purchasing it if you already have the game, or even if you don't, then go ahead with the director's cut version. As you have already seen throughout this video, the game looks visually amazing. All the footage taken for this video is captured on the PS5 with the director's cut enhancements. This game is actually very interesting when it comes to the PS5 upgrades, as it received 2 different upgrades. First one is free, where the game frame rate is boosted to 60 frames per second while keeping the same resolution of the PS4 Pro through backwards compatibility. The second upgrade you will only get if you purchase the director's cut expansion on PS5. You will get an overall better image quality, and the game renders at 4K resolution 60 frames per second instead of 1800p of the PS4 version. There is also an option called higher frame rate, but the weird thing is that it runs also on 60 frames per second, but with lower resolution, which is 1800p like the PS4 Pro version, but with slightly better textures quality if you compare both. So this mode feels a bit meaningless, as the 4K mode also runs at 60 frames per second. Probably this option is given just in case that maybe in some areas when a lot of things are happening on the screen, the game would run smoother. For me, I'm playing the game on high resolution option for a long time now, and it's running buttery smooth. As for the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, the game is capped at 30 frames per second with a bit lower resolution on the base PS4. Other than the resolution and the frame rate, whichever console you are playing the game on, the visuals in this game are astonishing. The characters, the gorgeous grass system, the overall colors, and the amazing light system. Wandering around the map is a joy of itself, watching those amazing visuals. So overall, this game, when it comes to graphics and visuals, it just looks amazing. Sucker Punch truly mastered the music and audio part in this game. The music here puts you in the right mood for the era that the game is portraying, and whatever is happening on the screen during the story, the right track always plays to make you even immerse further into the experience. Of course, along with the amazing audio and sound effects that this game has. Unfortunately, I won't be able to put any music for you to listen to for copyright reasons, but I will leave you with a few clips to check the audio effects and judge it yourselves.
Good. You found your sword.
Where can I find a horse?
The stables aren't far. This way.
Face me, invader! No! That's close. Duncan set fire to our best swordsman. Humiliated my uncle. Butchered the warriors of Tsushima. I'm going to repay his kindness.
By repeating the same mistakes that got your friends killed.
That's what the Mongols will think. Yumhige samurai!
Sucker Punch managed to truly deliver an epic game. I loved every moment of playing it. They did an amazing job of putting you in the samurai's shoes, and it just gives you the feel of the power you possess with the katana, different weapons and gadgets that you have. And most importantly, they managed to balance between the good gameplay, visuals, and overall difficulty options, unlike some other games. And yes, I mean Sekiro by that. I would recommend eyes closed that you own and play this game if you like samurai games, as it is easily one of the best games that was recently released. Alright, time to wrap this up. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, then leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.